was she denigrated their father verbally all the time, which I truly believe was a part of the reason why they saw very little value and appreciation for what I did for them. They had been groomed to look at their father in a negative way their entire lives. And so, how could they have any respect or appreciation for what I was doing? You know, this happens a lot with children who are raised in a single parent home by a single mother. Number 7 would be relationships risk. So I did a message on Resilient Man channel called Buyer Beware, a cautionary tale for men dating a single mother. This is part 2 of that message. Single moms, a stepdad nightmare. This is dealing specifically with what you can expect in becoming a stepdad to children of a single mom. I'm going to put the link to the first message, Buyer Beware, a cautionary tale for men dating a single mother. I'll put that link in the description of this message. Check it out. It's valuable information that you will need to know if you are getting involved with a single mom. So click on that, check it out. So I dated and eventually married a single mom. We both had children of our own. I had 2, she had 2 as well. And as things progressed and we decided to get married, I thought creating a combined family would be a blessing, not to us as a couple, but also to the children as well. And at times it was a blessing for the most part, but it always remains a very complicated situation when you're dealing with a combined family and dealing with the children of a single mother. You know, one of the main reasons why I remarried was because I wanted to give my children back a home with a mother and a father. You know, my children's mother and I, we had divorced, and so it was very important to me that that if I could give my children back a home with a mother and a father in the home, that would be a wonderful thing and would be a blessing for them, and to also to my wife's children as well. They didn't quite appreciate it though, because they had always been with their mother as a single mom ever since they were very young. So it didn't quite work out the way I had planned. And I'm going to share some things here that you need to be wary of if you are involved with a single mother and if you are planning on getting married, and uh, just some cautionary tales to keep in mind here. So I've got 8 things that I'm going to share with you, and they're all things that I experienced and were tremendously hard to deal with. So the first one, in dealing with the children of a single mom as a stepfather, is limited authority and respect. You know, as a stepfather, as a stepdad, you're never going to have full parental authority, but you will be expected to take on the financial responsibilities, or at least part of it, which we're going to cover that piece as well. You know, your stepkids, they will most likely resist discipline and or boundaries from you, who is not their real dad, and they're never going to see you as their real dad. Uh, you will never be seen as anything more than just their mother's husband. I mean, that was the case for me. I was nothing more than my wife's husband to her 2 kids, and that was something I could just simply never overcome. They had been with their mother their entire lives, obviously, in a single mother home. So it was very complicated. Which leads me to number 2, a very complicated co-parenting dynamic, especially if your wife and her ex-husband do not get along. You know, if the biological father is involved, there can be a lot of tension and a lot of power struggles, not just between your now wife, but also her children and you as well. And of course, the custody arrangements can affect that dramatically. You are going to experience stress from that drama because it's very complicated. The number three would be the emotional bond with your stepkids. Many times it takes time to develop that, but unfortunately many times that bond never forms at all. It's not guaranteed that the children are going to bond with you or accept you as their stepdad. Again, most likely they're going to just see you as their mother's husband. And that's very hard, especially if you are put into a situation where if you have children and you do not have full custody of the children and you feel like you're spending more time and investment in these stepkids than you are in your own children, it can be a very difficult situation and put you in a very awkward situation. I remember one case in point. There was a vacation that we went on, my wife and her two kids. My children could not go. There was a scheduling conflict with calendars and such. And I got to tell you, it was one of the most heart-wrenching things to go on a vacation with my wife and her kids and not have my own children. It really ate me up. But see, that's one of the things that you have to deal with as a stepfather. Not fun, not fun. Their affection and their loyalty will remain with their biological father. And many times it will leave you as a stepdad feeling as an outsider, no matter what you do. No matter how much emotional investment you put into these stepkids, it doesn't always yield reciprocal love or appreciation from them. Many times it doesn't. Again, I will share in my personal situation. With my ex's younger child, they did reciprocate love and affection for a while when they were younger, but then once they got into their preteen and teen years, they essentially ghosted me and I was non-existent. Her older child, I simply never could break through her wall. And quite frankly, I finally gave up on both because it was just such an emotional drain. And again, I was nothing more than their mom's husband. And that was all I was ever going to be as a stepdad. That's a reality you will have to face if you're involved with a single mother, married to a single mother. Number four is the financial burden. Having to pay for, and at least in part, for children who are not your own. And even worse than that, if that is taking away from your own kids, that can be extremely hard and it causes a lot of conflict in a marriage. But you're going to be expected to contribute financially to her kids. You will not get away from that. So something to really consider. Number five would be lack of acknowledgement of your effort. Many times your wife and her children will not fully appreciate everything you do, the hard work you put in around the home, what you bring to the home financially. They are not going to validate or fully appreciate your efforts. I know in my case, when I remarried and we combined homes, their financial situation greatly improved because of me and their lifestyle and all of that came with it. That was never fully appreciated. It was taken for granted, and it was simply expected, and it will be the same for you. Special events like Father's Day and stuff like that can be painful and awkward because these are your stepchildren and they're not really emotionally involved, and so it can just make for an awkward situation. Number six would be different values and or parenting styles. Now, this was a big one in my marriage. conflicting parenting philosophies between you as their stepdad and the mother can lead to a lot of conflict and tension. And the children, of course, they are obviously on the mother's side, and they manipulate the mother to make sure that she is on their side. And if the children have been raised with values that clash with your values as a stepdad, your expectations as a stepdad, you're in for a lot of problems, and you find yourself living in a home that is just nothing but drama and conflict and tension and stress. It's simply not worth it. One of the key things with my ex, with her children, was she denigrated their father verbally all the time, which I truly believe was a part of the reason why they saw very little value and appreciation for what I did for them. They had been groomed to look at their father in a negative way their entire lives. And so how could they have any respect or appreciation for what I was doing? This happens a lot with children who are raised in a single parent home by a single mother. Number 7 would be relationships risk with the mother. If the relationship ends, if the marriage ends, you as a stepfather, you are going to lose connection with those children. And there's really nothing you can do. In addition to that, you're dealing with the mother's past relationship baggage, the children's past relationship baggage, and the unresolved trauma and bitterness that comes along with that, which, that comes from the children as well. So number 8 would be you have no legal rights. As a stepfather, unless you legally adopt them, which I would not recommend, because then you're on the hook for them for life financially. But as a stepfather, you have no legal rights. You have no say in anything whatsoever. Medical, educational, legal decisions. And of course, if there is a breakup and the marriage ends, you're most likely going to be completely cut off entirely from these stepkids. And if you were able to establish a bond and there is love and respect there, years of investment in their lives will have been for nothing. It will be gone. It will be gone. So, guys, this is part 2 of Buyer Beware, getting involved with a single mother, which again, I'm going to put that link in the description of this message. Ultimately, guys, the risk versus the reward with single moms as a stepdad to her children, more times than not, is nothing but heartache. Let me know your thoughts. Guys, hit that subscribe button right now. Hit that like button. Let me know your take. Let me know your thoughts. It's a very tough situation. It really is. But you have to keep this in mind if you are getting involved and or are planning on marrying a single mother. So, guys, if you're enjoying Resilient Man content, if this message brought you value, hit subscribe. Check out the other content on here. We got a lot of great stuff specifically for men, and the topics and the issues that we are concerned with as men in our society and culture. Guys, know your worth. Protect your peace.